All right, Scott, so what's the next step?
Okay, so we've pruned the vines, we've picked the grapes. Then the next step is to bring the fruit up here, and this is where we start the red fruit right here. You put a bin of fruit, about 1,000 pounds of fruit in this. It'll lift this up.
1,000 pounds?
1,000 pounds, about, some weigh a little more than 1,000, some weigh a little less than 1,000. And then that'll tip the bin of fruit up over the top. Okay, now then the fruit's off into what we call a shaker table.
Okay.
That's this right here. And there's a big pile of fruit now that's come out of the bin onto that table. The shaker table levels it out.
Okay.
It comes onto a sorting table. And if there's any leaves or junk in the fruit, then we pick it off here. This is a what we call a crusher. This takes the fruit and runs it up to our destemmer.
Wow. So that up there is the destemmer?
That's the destemmer.
Okay.
That runs the fruit over into this apparatus.
Okay.
There's a metal bar in there that turns one way, a cage that turns the other way. It knocks the berries off and into this fermenter. Okay. And that sits right under here.
Okay. For a season, how many times does this sucker run?
Oh, hours a day.
Wow. Okay, so the grapes have gone through the crush, and now they're headed
into the fermentation bin.
Okay.
Okay. So we can put about 1.5 tons of grapes into one of these bins. And then this is where we inoculate it with a yeast, and it sits here for anywhere from 10 to 14 days.
Okay.
And we're doing what we call a punch down. The cap floats. It's all the berries, and the juice settles to the bottom. So what we're doing is we're incorporating the berries back with the juice that's in the bottom.
To get it mixed up.
Right,
yeah.
And this gives it a color, so that the juice and the skins can impart that color to the wine.
Okay, so when you go through this process, you have to do this by hand, basically.
There are machines for it, but they're unreliable. I've had one before.
Okay.
They're unreliable. They take a lot of space, and usually this place is full of fermentation bins. Yeah.
And you told me something interesting, that when you come in the morning, you have to make sure you open up the doors and open up the windows because there's not much oxygen in here.
Right. This gives off the byproduct of this fermentation is carbon dioxide. So it actually takes the oxygen out of the place. So we do open everything up, air it out. Right now it isn't as bad, but when it's full, you get lightheaded just walking in the place.
That's wild.
Yeah.
So after you punch it all down, then you get it into barrels, right?
Exactly, right?
Okay.
Once it's done, and this goes down to 0 bricks. All the sugar's been transformed into alcohol. And then this goes back into the big press, and it's pressed away from the skins, and then it goes into the barrels.
Okay, let's go see a barrel.
All right.
All right.
Okay, we finished the punch down, and after that sits there for 10 to 15 days after it finishes fermentation, we take that back out to the big press the juice off of the skins, and then that goes into barrels.
Okay.
And then once it's in barrels, every 2 weeks we come in here and top them off, because you don't want a lot of oxygen exchange.
Okay.
That leaves a big footprint once that wine goes down out of the barrels. They naturally transpire. So we have to put wine back in them all the time. It's called topping a barrel. It's something that you just do religiously.
And how, do you change out the barrels every year?
We use some of the barrels to get all of the oak out of it. You can use it about 3 vintages, and you still have some oak flavor in it. And then it's called a neutral barrel.
Okay.
So, but a lot of our wine's made in neutral barrels with new barrels augmented, so that we have some new flavor, some normal flavor, and then we mix them back together. That's the kind of the winemaker's art.
Okay, and do you have preferences of different barrels for different varietals as far as wood is concerned?
We do. We use a lot of French oak on our Pinot Noir, and we'll use a lot of American oak on Barbera, Zinfandel, some of the heavier reds.
Oh, Zin's one of my favorites.
It's a good one.
I'm about ready to go tasting. I don't know about you.
Yeah, I'm ready for some more
thirsty.
wine.
Okay.
We've been farming apples and pears for quite a while organically, so we thought that we'd go ahead and do the grapes the same way.
It's really smooth. It's very, very nice.